Hey boss, it's time to set up your rabbit hutch. The rabbit hutch is designed to encapsulate or enclose all of the overspray and try to minimize and reduce the chances of overspray causing problems for you. The rabbit, being 2 tips, obviously puts out twice as amount of material. So with that twice as much material, you're going to get the opportunity to have more overspray. That's just common knowledge. Well, what we're trying to do is contain that, but not stop the wind. The reason why I'm saying is the roof rabbit is constantly moving. So you're gonna be hitting into different wind patterns and everything else. We want a material that allows the wind to slightly still blow through, but the overspray to stick to it instead of trying to blow out. So that's why we made it out of a mesh material that allows the wind to still blow through, but allows the material to stick to it. We've used it successfully in the spray foam industry, so we just brought over into our roof rabbit. What we're gonna do today is go through what you get within your hutch. So when you get your package, you'll have this along with the actual cloth material. These are all your pieces. This is what attaches it to the actual end of the boom. This is the receiving end up by the actual main bulkhead that has a left and a right hand thread to it, so you'll notice that. One's left and one's right. And then the 2 main arms, the frames, and then we have our drop tubes, threads into the corners, and then has buttons on the end to attach to our material. And then last but not least is a clevis pin that actually attaches this to the frame. So we're going to put this together. This will be the last piece we use because of the left-handed thread. So what we're going to do is it's going to come like this. We're going to take our one side here, spin that in there. Don't have to do much torque on it. Get it fairly close. My table's not quite big enough. Now I'll take the other side. Put it in. Torque it up. Now that we have those, we've got the majority of the frame put together. So now we're going to lay this across the table here. And if you look at this, you'll pay attention, you'll see we got a left and a right hand thread. And if you look on these, this one here, if you look on it, will show that it has a left hand punch on it. It says LH. That will be the one that puts the left hand. So all you do is line these up, get your right just started, one thread in there. Then you get your left just started. Make sure you're kind of true here. And there they go. So then we're just going to tighten this down. You're going to tighten with your right hand, obviously like a right-handed thread. But because of that having a left-hand thread, it's going to cinch them both up at the same time. So there we have the main part of the frame. Now as you see, these have thread holes in them. This, because of the way that the frame is made and everything else with pieces, you gotta sometimes lay it on the table, get it good and flat. Now, this is gonna obviously be facing down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this over. So this is facing up. We're gonna take our 4 drop pins, or drop tubes, what are you gonna call them? And they're just going to hand tight into here. The one negative thing I will tell you guys, which anybody who's worked in equipment wise, these are made out of aluminum. So aluminum will oxidize, you will get some black on your hands. I've been handling them all day, not just this one. So my hands have been pretty covered with them. But hard to put down. Turn this around. They're a coarse thread, so they go pretty easy. If they're tight, when you first get it, it's typically just the end of this thread needs rolled over a little bit. We try to test fit every one of them. Sometimes they get test fitted in, that hole, but you end up putting over here, and it might. So all you gotta do is just check those threads on the end. They may just need. You might take up either file or something. Like I said, typically doesn't have them, but if it does, they will fit. They just need that last little bit of that thread roll over. So, as you see, this is the actual unit. So that is the actual unit without the curtain on it, obviously. Now for installing the rabbit hutch onto the actual physical rabbit. So I'm going to grab the unit here. What you're going to do is you're going to take the end, slide it on just enough to hold. Make sure your hose is out of the way. You can bring your hose over if you need to. That sets on there like that. Go ahead and put your pin through. That way it stays in position. Now this one, we'll tell you, sometimes you have to wobble these a little bit to get it to make sure, because it has a little bit of play to allow it to go left or right here. So, and these new little fuzzy are tight. So that holds it in that center section. And then on this side, we're gonna wanna move this outside down tube for the rabbit. You're gonna wanna move it in just a couple inches off of the slide out boom. So make sure you got these good and tight so these things aren't going nowhere. And then you wanna make sure you tighten down everything here. So now once we've got that on here, then we're going to tighten this down right here. What this does is this takes out the play in all of that and puts it to where it is literally, when it moves now, you gotta move the whole rabbit. It doesn't move any. So that allows you to, by putting on the back side, it brings it forward some to where you can actually make sure that the feet are fairly level. Yes, this side's gonna ride a little higher strictly because of aluminum bending a little bit when you get out that far. We've thought about replacing this with a solid core, but by doing that we add so much more weight, we're just not, it's not worth it. This is work, we can make this work. If you need to, if it's been too much, you think you're else, you can always scoot this in. You can scoot this thing all the way into right here. Only reason we leave it about where it's at there is, this allows your screen to cover that inside wheel, where you don't get near as much overspray on your inside wheel. So you take your cover here, it has a button side. Now what that side obviously goes is over here. So we're going to take this, somewhat lay it out over it. I like to start on these outside corners. I get these outside corners, make sure I'm over there, and try and get them down to that right there. Get them down to where they're at the bend there. Then you take your inside corners, wrap them, and you'll see that it lays on there very nice. We make these for these specific. Now, you take your buttons, go ahead and button these couple buttons here. So that holds it on the unit. Now, last step is you go along and you button these bottom 4. You'll see there's 4 straps and there's buttons on the bottom of those tubes. That is what keeps the material fairly taut or tight, however you want to say it, to where it doesn't flop a lot in the wind. There is the setup unit that allows you still to adjust your tips. All of that. If you got a clogged tip, you reach down there, twist it. It allows you to change your profile distance and minimize the amount of overspray that can cause you issues on your job, guys. Alright guys, this is what the Hutch looks like once it's finally installed. As you can see, we still have adjustability of all of our tips, so we can still move those in and out wherever we need to, so we can do fine-tune adjustments. We have an access hole here that you can reach down inside and get to it. And they all snap on the bottom of our drop tubes. So it's left or right hand orientation, doesn't matter. We have a access little set screw here with 2 holes. One side, if it's on the left side, you put it on the back. That tilts it forward up because of the camber we have built into the unit that allows it to not drag, so that tilts it up. If you go to the right side, you put it on the back one, and that will flip it up on that side. So either side can be used, whether you're left or right hand orientation, doesn't matter. This material has been used successfully in the spray foam industry to stop overspray, and that It's down, like I said, within inches of the ground. So yes, it's not going to eliminate overspray, guys, but what it does is it allows the wind to still somewhat blow through and catch the material, your overspray, on the cloth. It's not a screen that's trying to divert the wind away. It actually is going to allow the air to still move through, but it catches the particles. If you make this out of a solid material, it actually accelerates the wind, causes a vacuum, and will actually take more overspray out, or suck more of the fines out. We don't want to do that. We want to allow weather or the wind to still continue to slightly blow through. It's going to minimize and slow down so it doesn't cause that flutter of your spray tips near as bad, but also allows those fines, as they blow up, to be caught into the material. This is replaceable, so that's not a big deal. We can, honestly, I've got guys who take it, you can peel it off once it dries for a while, get some layers on there, you peel it off, but this will allow you to spray in those days that weather may be something that, the wind might be causing just enough material overspray issues that you want to second guess it. This will allow you to extend those working days and can still be able to use your Rabbit, which is extending and maximizing your production in the same amount of time frame.